What's up guys, I'm doing a forest vlog, just looking around the forest and see what's going on. It's fine so far. What the fuck is he walking around here for? What's he doing? What the fuck just happened there? There's only me over here. No one else, no one knows this place. No one knows. I'm sure I don't know. What the fuck is going on? Hey, what you doing, man? What the fuck is going on with him? Hey man, I gotta call the police on you. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Welcome to the Halloween special of Movie Rewind. Before we start, I would just like to say that this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the film which I am going to review, then please go and watch it now, and then come back and watch the review. And I am not going to do this voice for the rest of the review, because it is really annoying me, probably annoying you, and giving me a bad throat. So, let's get back to the normal review. What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I thought to get into the Halloween spirit I would review the 1978 horror classic Halloween. And I won't be just reviewing it, I will be trying to discover why a movie which was predicted to bomb at the box office, made by an inexperienced director, starring a cast who hardly had ever had any experience before, and why, a film with such a minuscule budget of just $300,000 was able to gross $47 million in the US alone, and why it has become a cult classic. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So as previously stated, Halloween was released in 1978 and it starred Donald Pleasence, Jamie Lee Curtis, Nancy Kyes, PJ Soles and Tony Morgan, and was directed by John Carpenter. And this was one of John Carpenter's first films, so he weren't the classic director which we know today. He was very inexperienced and everyone predicted he was going to fail. Actually, everyone thought this movie was going to fail because it just didn't seem like a brilliant movie. It was originally going to be called The Babysitter Murders, changed to Halloween because, get it into the festive spirit for when it was going to be released. And everyone just thought this film was going to fail. It was just your typical horror movie with a slasher running around killing people. And it was just, it was ignored by everyone. The newspaper said it was going to fail. Critics said it was going to fail. And Carpenter proved them all wrong. And this is why it stays so close to my heart. Because they proved him wrong. They proved all the critics, all the newspapers, they proved everybody wrong. And that is what I love about this movie. It proved everyone wrong, and that is what makes a great film. So before we start getting into any of the movie in depth, I'm just going to read the synopsis for the film. Right, here goes. On a cold Halloween night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister Judith. He was sentenced and locked away for 15 years. But on October the 30th, 1978, while being transferred for a court date, a 21-year-old Michael Myers steals a car and escapes Smiths Grove's mental hospital. He returns to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims, and his psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Loomis, attempts to take him down. Ooh. Now just that synopsis makes you think, wait a minute, so a 6-year-old kills someone. Yeah, when this film first starts off, it's got a beautiful long shot, and then you see him kill his sister, and then you get the shock of your life when you discover it's a 6-year-old kid who's just killed his own sister, and that hooks you. And that's pretty much why this movie, it just hooks you straight from the start. You are interested in it, and when you're interested in a film, the film passes quicker, the pacing is expertly done because you're just hooked on it. You want to know what happened, and this is why this film traumatizes me at the start, because you just don't imagine a 6-year-old kid getting a knife and killing someone. So I think that's what makes it a good film, because it just hooks you straight from the start. This film is just so expertly paced, it's suspenseful. It's not like a 21st century horror movie where there's just, stab, everybody's dead. No, it's not like that. It's paced perfectly. There are only 3 killings in this film, and they're all expertly done because they've built up to him. There is so much suspense that when these kills happen, they feel real. You're like, oh my god, I didn't really want that to happen. And that is what separates Halloween from horror movies nowadays, because it builds up suspense, and that's what this film does. And mostly because of the cheap budget. You know, I award that it was given a cheap budget because it meant that Carpenter had to focus on the characters and the story in order to build up the suspense, instead of just using blood and gore. It's something which, you know, films in the Halloween franchise which were done later sometimes failed because they just upped the gore, but they replaced, you know, all of the character build-up, all of the intensity with just gore and blood. So sometimes I think it's safe to say that a cheap budget, you know, sometimes results in brilliant films, like in the case of Halloween. So let's talk about the cast of this film. Well, obviously the top billing was given to Donald Pleasence. Now, I've seen Donald Pleasence in films he's done before this. For instance, You Only Live Twice. He was perfect as Blofeld in the James Bond film. But in this film, I think it really is his trademark role, because he's supposed to play a psychiatrist called Dr. Sam Loomis, and he's so on edge. You get that this guy, I mean, this is a psychiatrist which carries around a gun, and instead of reasoning with Michael, he's just like, he's evil. He needs to be destroyed. And I think that's what really, you know, makes me click, because his role is so on edge. You never really know what he's going to do, and he's a very troubled man, and it's a beautiful performance from the late Donald Pleasence. And you know what, mate, this was your best role, and we couldn't have asked for anyone better. Jamie Lee Curtis is also good as Laurie, you know, your typical horror movie cliche scream girl, but the difference is she does play it very realistically. It feels grounded, it's not over the top, and you know, Curtis's acting is actually pretty well done. So, you know, that's a good thing. The rest of the cast is standard. There are no other real standout performances, apart from Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis. They're all pretty much, they're not bad. It's just, and that sometimes lets this movie down a bit. Some of the acting is a bit over the top. But, you know, you can't just judge a film on its acting talent. You know, they were all inexperienced, so we just got to hope that, you know, they were just inexperienced. That's all we can say about it, really. So now let's talk about the real villain of this film, the score. Now, this score is brilliant. You know, it builds up the film, it adds intensity to the film, and it's one of the most iconic movie scores, you know, in movie history. It was made by John Carpenter, and it was just a brilliant score. I cannot stop talking about it, because it's just cracking. It builds up Michael Myers' character, it makes you feel intense. You're literally sitting there at the screen like, oh my god, the music is playing, something is going to happen right now, and it's just brilliant. And you know, whatever you say, you can say you like Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but, you know, the score used in Halloween is probably why it's iconic also, because with a score this good, you know the movie is just going to be a cracking film. So the last point I'm going to talk about is Michael Myers, of course, the star of the film, and he was one of the very first slashers. He was inspired by Norman Bates in Psycho, and he is really good because it is such a deep performance. You know, all you hear him do is breathing heavily and walking around. He wears a Captain Kirk mask, which is inside out. That's just the cheap budget of the film, and it's just become iconic. And he's such a brilliant role because, is it a man? Does evil really exist? And in Michael Myers' case, you know, maybe evil does really exist. It's about how much will someone go? How much can you reason with a person? until you eventually discover that there is just nothing there. There's no humanity left, and there is just evil. And that's what I like about Michael Myers in the Halloween film, because he is just the definition of evil. He kills his victims slowly. He creeps up on them. It builds the suspense. And as I said, I know I keep going back to this, but the suspense in this film is so well done. It's brilliant. It's something filmmakers really need to take away from this. If you have a suspenseful film, then you have a better horror movie. So, a call out to all horror movie directors: use suspense, proper suspense, not 21st century suspense, proper suspense, because then you'll have better films, and then maybe I might come and see some 21st century horror films. So in conclusion, Halloween is a classic horror movie film which in my opinion defines the horror genre. If you guys haven't seen it, then I would really recommend it. I'm sure you enjoy it. Actually no, I'm not sure. I guarantee you will enjoy this film. So as always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate the views. Remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality videos in the future. There will be more reviews coming up right up until Christmas, so I hope you really do support that. I couldn't do it without you guys, you know that. So I'm going to go and eat some chocolate now because I'm a fat lump and it's Halloween, the one day when I'm allowed to eat chocolate. So see ya. Oh yeah, and happy Halloween, guys. As you probably gathered, that opening scene wasn't real. Don't worry, I'm not a psychopathic murderer. Not yet, anyway. So I'm going to say a big shout out to Ryan Beefcake Flack, who recorded it and also starred in it, and I'll see you guys in another one. Hope you enjoyed the Halloween special. If you didn't, then fair enough. So I'll see you in another one.